I am a big fan of setting the conditions.
And set the conditions.
Setting the conditions.
Setting the conditions. And I set the conditions to set the conditions, forward thinking and backwards planning.
And set the conditions, quote unquote, non-running things that
So we'll get into it. This video is about a follow-up to one of the shorts that I made yesterday. The shorts that the YouTube short video that I made yesterday was called Setting the Conditions. And this is something that I learned from Nick Bear. He's a CEO and hybrid athlete. He's the CEO of Bear Performance Nutrition. Let me get that. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, it's David. I'm just a dad and help you guys become the best version of yourself so you guys can call yourself the best dad ever. And today, I just wanted to spend some time with you guys going over a few things. But first, before we get into that, let's have a little life update. It's June. It's crazy, huh? Half the year's over. But yeah, a few things. My daughter is 2 years old and some change. And we're getting into a stage where she's a little bit more, I don't want to say stubborn because the words that I, use kind of reflect and can manifest it, right? But she has her feelings. She has her feelings and she's very explorative in her behavior. She's testing her boundaries and it leads to not difficulties, but like challenges along the way. And it really reflects on ourselves as parents, how we react to these situations. And those of you guys with toddlers know that at this age, there's a lot of explorative hitting, right? They're testing out their boundaries and hitting people and things. They're not necessarily listening. They're very playful and curious and testing their freedom and mobility and ability. And it's very interesting to not only observe, but to be the parent, the guardian, the person of authority, right? Laying down the rules. But I'm learning a lot. So currently right now I'm reading a book called No Bad Kids by some lady, I believe Janet Lansbury or something, if I remember off the top of my head. So I'm going through that right now, just to get a better gauge of how to approach difficult situations. And hopefully I learn a lot from that book because obviously a lot of these behaviors do really test you. So I'm trying to learn, get better at myself as parents, and I'd like to share some of the wisdom that I pick up from this book. But if you guys have any tips on toddlers and how to deal with, hitting and all that fun stuff, drop a comment down below. I love to learn from other parents. So yeah, feel free to drop something and teach your boy something new, right? Other than that, what's new with me? I added a new shoe to my running lineup. Maybe I'll make a quick video about the shoes that I use in my rotation. So currently I have an everyday trainer. I have a tempo and interval or a faster shoe. And now I'm able to say happily that I have a recovery and long run shoe. And that long run shoe is also quote unquote a super trainer. And I'm super excited about it. I got it in last week and I eased into it with an 8-mile run this past Sunday. It's the, I'm not gonna get into the details here, but I use this shoe to save my legs or at the end of the week where my legs are a little bit more worn out and tired. So I'm super excited about that. But yeah, that's all the updates that I have. So we'll get into it. This video is about a follow-up to one of the shorts that I made yesterday. The YouTube short video that I made yesterday was called Setting the Conditions. So this is something that I learned from Nick Bear of BPN. BPN is a nutrition company and he's the CEO of that company. He's also a very well-known YouTube fitness influencer / hybrid athlete. And he is a great role model for a lot of guys, a lot of athletes, a lot of dads too, and also a lot of business founders, right? But one of the things that I picked up from him was how to be really buff and really fast. No, I'm just kidding. One of the things I picked up was setting the conditions. And he was always an advocate of doing things to prepare yourself. Obviously, as a hybrid athlete and an ultra marathon runner, an ultra distance runner, a triathlete, right? He's obviously put in the work to prepare himself for big moments such as races and events and bodybuilding competitions, whatever it may be, right? So he knows how to put in the work, the preparation, to be prepared, to be ready, to show up. But one of the things that he advocated for was setting the conditions day in and day out. And, yesterday I made that short video of myself laying out all the small and mundane tasks that I needed to do in the morning so that I can conquer the morning and win. And obviously a lot of these things don't really take time, right? Like obviously taking your supplements and making a coffee, drinking your electrolytes, these things don't really take up a lot of time and aren't really tough to do, but when they all add up, they're substantial. They create friction in your mornings. And rather than wasting 2, 3, 4 minutes waiting for the kettle to boil, and then waiting 2, 3 minutes for your espresso beans to be grinded and tamped and then, loaded up in the machine, all these things I try to do before I go to bed. So that means when I wake up, I'm dressed, I do all my, hygiene stuff, and then I'm downstairs, my electrolytes are ready, my water's already boiling because my kettle is automated to go at 5 in the morning, right? So I have hot water and lemon and salt. My electrolytes are laid out, I get my water, I get hydrated, my espresso machine's ready to go after I get home from my run. So this allows me to be prepared to run without really thinking and having any strain of what I need to do, right? This allows me to tackle the harder tasks that I have laid out for myself in the mornings, right? Things like getting ready for a trading day or smashing a workout or getting a run in. These things are my priority, and they are more, not strenuous, but they take more of your time, more of your effort, and you want to pour your focus and your attention into that. So all the small things that I do still need to take care of, right? I still want to make an electrolyte, a salt water for my wife. I still want to get breakfast ready for my daughter. I still want to be able to take my supplements and nutrition so that I'm optimal. All of these things still take up like 5, 10, 15 minutes sometimes when I'm not focused. And rather than allowing that to dictate my morning, I make sure that it is smooth as possible when I wake up so that I can knock these things out instantaneously and get on to my bigger or more strenuous or more rigorous task, right? And that allows me to set the conditions to win every single morning. And one of the few things that I like to do, some of the few things that I like to do to set the conditions are to journal at night. Journaling at night allows yourself to create a little to-do list of specific tasks that you need to get done in the morning. Obviously, not all mornings are similar, right? Some mornings, I don't need to get out the door to go for a run. Some mornings, I don't need to, hunt for a trade early on, right? Because I have my certain work hours. So I need to know what I need to get done that day. Sometimes I have tasks and errands that I need to do as a parent. So when I spend the time at night to journal, I know exactly what I need to do, and I create a little to-do list of specific things that I need to do. Obviously, there are going to be things that you're going to be doing every morning, like making coffee, making electrolytes, laying out your supplements, getting breakfast ready, right? Like all these things, you can already prepare and put that as a part of your to-do list, and then create a night routine, right? That night routine comes after creating that journal and that to-do list. Then you go on into the ritual and routine of laying out your supplements, filling up your kettle, pre-grinding your coffee beans, making sure your espresso machine's water tank is filled, right? Laying out your filter for your pour-over coffee. All these things allows you to just wake up and step into the morning without having to fumble and waste a few precious minutes here and there. So that's your night routine. Another thing I like to do too, if my mornings aren't really packed and busy, I like to journal in the morning. Why? Because that allows me then to prepare the rest of my day. Obviously, you can do that in your night journaling, but sometimes I don't want to spend too much time journaling. I want to make it as an exercise that I enjoy, but I don't dread, right? So obviously, I don't want to spend all my time journaling and, blowing off precious time with my wife or my family, or precious time that I could be spent recovering or, working. So then I'll make a morning journal session when I have time to. And that moment of solitude in the morning allows you to be present for the rest of your day, structure your day so that you're successful, allow yourself to review the standards that you uphold for yourself. And that sets the conditions for the rest of the day, right? And that's really simple, I know, but it's hugely important because as a parent, as, a professional, as a wannabe athlete, we have to make use of our precious time. And, obviously my daughter wakes up at 6:30. Living on the West Coast, trading hours are really early too, right? So I don't have that much time in the morning. So I have to get up early and make use of every single moment that I have. And one of the biggest things that I am a proponent of is, spending time in solitude, working on your spirit and your soul, right? And spirituality. So spending time meditating and spending time with yourself, your mind, and really being in tune with that is really important. And you can't really do that if your morning is stressful and rushed and not premeditated, right? If it's not organized, it's so hard to really have a moment of peace in the morning. And it is so crucial that you do so that you can not only be prepared, but then be present. Even on days where I don't work, right? Sometimes on Mondays and Fridays I don't work and I'm just a dad on those days. When I don't get to spend time with myself, I am not present. I am not understanding and adaptable and flexible as a parent, right? Like I am easily flustered by certain behaviors that my daughter is going through, and I don't like that about myself. I like to be able to be not only dialed in and optimized, but I like to be able to be aware and be able to be a role model without being too harsh and, being able to receive certain behaviors without lashing out, right? Like I'm able to do that and be able to really be in the awareness of my feelings and emotions when I'm present with myself, my own mind, my thoughts, my emotions and feelings. And that only happens when I spend the time early in the morning to meditate, to pray, to spend time alone and really reflect on myself and what I need to do that day as a dad, as a father, right? And oftentimes we think of being a father as just making sure our daughters or our kids are alive and they get through the day, but it's so much more than that. It's so much more than just providing for them, right? But it's also providing them a platform to learn, to discover, to explore boundaries and emotions and feelings. And we can't really do that to the best of our abilities if we're just in our own mind, in our own heads, saying, no, don't do this, don't do that, right? There's so much more to that. And, when we are in the awareness of the way we feel and the way we react, we can become better parents. And this all starts with setting the conditions so that you're successful as an athlete, as a professional, as a father. I hope I gave you guys some value. Once again, guys, I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. I'm so appreciative of your support. I hope to deliver more content, more wisdom, so that you guys can become better, the best versions of yourself, and you guys can call yourself the best dad ever. Peace out. Much love.